Ryan Hager. I'm the director of golf instruction at Plainfield Country Club. I've been here since 2014 and have been the director of instruction since 2019. PGA member also since 2016 when I graduated from Penn State.
My name is Jason Bataille. My biggest achievement would probably be making it to the round of 16 at the U.S. Mid-Amateur at Sleepy Hollow. More recently, I've wanted to compete at a higher level. To do that, I knew I had to improve more things than just my short game. So that's led me into trying to be a better ball striker. I've always been really good at having a strong mental game. When it comes to things like match play, I was always very strong because it didn't look like I was doing well, but I would somehow find a way to come through.
I suppose over the last few years, I've battled with the identity fork in the road of like teacher and coach. I think those are different things. I suppose I would consider myself a blend 50-50 and avid fan and passionate player of this game.
Welcome to another episode of the BCG podcast. And yes, this is a new name that we're having. It used to be the Danny Risa podcast, but now it's the BCG podcast, and it stands for the Bridgewater Golf Collective. It'll take me a while to get there, but I am super happy. We are at beautiful Plainfield Country Club. And I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be here. This is very special. And I am sitting with two guys that I admire, not just because they're great golfers, but they're great people. I have Mr. Ryan Hager and Mr. Jason Bataille. How you guys doing today?
Great. Thanks for coming to my office.
No, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm always here. I'll be happy to be here if I can every single day. You know, trying to fix whatever comes to my mind and how I mess up my swing.
Well, that's supposed to be my job to help you with. So
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah. How's everything with you, Jason?
I'm great. This is a repeat guest on your show, so
Yeah,
it's me
pretty soon
proud to be here.
Pretty soon we're gonna have you on payroll. You know, you're gonna be an official contributor or whatever.
Thought I had to pay you. I like the payroll idea much better.
We're working on a structure right now. We're working on this. But I wanted to talk to you guys for, a lot of reasons, and we're going to go into a bunch of subjects. But the biggest thing is that, look, this is January. I like to say that winter is when you put in the work, right? Is that correct? Or is that something that a lot of people, how most of your players, like, do they put in the work on the winter, or do they just completely take off and not play at all in the winter? What do most people do?
I don't know that there's a great answer for what most people do, but I think if you're a person who's determined to make some, whether they're big or, I guess it depends on your definition of a big change, but if you want to make some changes to your technique, I think this is a great time of year to do that. I'd say my lesson style changes throughout the year because of things like that. If you've got to play in a member guest tomorrow, it would be malpractice for me to make a lot of overhaul technique changes and things like that, knowing you have to play the next day. So given that most people have a lot of time between, now and opening day or the U.S. Open local qualifier or whatever the big thing on the calendar is, because there's so much time between now and then, if our objectives require a sizable technique change, this is kind of go time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I feel like I'm in the thick of it with a lot of people right now.
Yeah. Now, Jason, what are you working on around this time of the year? Is there something that you're working on your swing or anything else?
Yeah, so during the course of the year, I'm always tweaking and trying to, fix mistakes and make small incremental changes. And when we hit this time of the year, I know just by the video evidence of when I'm going throughout the year and I'm coming for a lesson from Ryan or something, like he'll want me to do this and I'll be inching closer to it. I know this time of the year I can kind of push myself a little further. So it's easier is definitely not the right word. but it feels like the right time to make a bigger change. Like, so, and that's kind of one of the things that we worked on today is that I know some of the things I'm supposed to do, but now I can push it a little further.
So how long have you guys been working together?
And we were looking at it today. October 1st of 2024 was our first session.
And
That was like, I don't know, 2 weeks after the U.S. Mid-Am at Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
I think, maybe getting to the round of 16 was like awesome in my mind. But I said, okay, no, like if you can do this, let's see what you can really do. Let's see if you can do even more. I think at that time I hadn't taken a lesson in 2 years or 3 years from anybody. And I knew that I believe in lessons if you're a coachable person. So that's a key in there.
Yeah.
Coachable. Yeah. There was a lot of.
Yeah.
So I think I am. So I just wanted to find a way to take it to the next level. And Ryan, I don't even know how I found or why
Yeah. Why did you go to Ryan?
I actually don't know.
I mean, because you're
Probably
big
hit
on
my
Instagram. I feel like everyone.
I think I have a close relationship to Plainfield as it is. I grew up in the town next door. I grew up playing golf at the West 9, so I always knew Ryan was an instructor here. So,
I forget.
I wasn't introduced by anybody.
But I guess
in the stars.
Yeah.
So obviously, huge achievement to make it to the round of 16 at the U.S. Mid-Am. Was there something that you realized playing in the U.S. Mid-Am that told you, okay, you know what, it's time for me I can do this. Let me go ahead and try to take it to the next level, or
so I made it for the first time ever the year before, playing out in Erin Hills. When I played out there, I made a triple bogey on the first hole, but besides that, like I just never felt like I was ready at that time. And like I came into Sleepy Hollow thinking like I need to make match play. Whatever that was my goal. Hadn't made match play in a USGA championship in 20 years, 2003. So like that was my goal, make match play. When I got into match play, I literally said, I don't give a flying what. Like it doesn't matter. Like I achieved my goal. Let's just have no fear, hit the shot that the shot calls for. Like don't think about it. Just go out there. And I was 59th. I still have the coin. Like I was a 59th seed. So who's that? You're playing the 5th seed or something like that. Nobody had me picked to beat that guy. So there was like all the pressure was on the other guy, and I ended up beating him. So I think that like it clicked at that moment. I was like, wait a minute, there might be something to this. Not thinking about the pressure in the moment and trying to figure out how to get past it and trust your golf swing. And so there was definitely no one thing, but it was an interesting like revelation in my mind.
When someone like Jason comes to you, as opposed to me, of course, that someone that at an elite level Mid-Am comes to you and says, hey, I want to take lessons. So what is the difference between someone like Jason and someone like me?
From a swing analysis perspective, not much. The ball flight laws are the ball flight laws. The way the club interacts with the ball and how it causes different shapes and trajectories. That stuff is not different from a good golfer to a bad golfer to a high handicapper to a good athlete or a bad athlete. The rules are the rules as far as, cause and effect goes. So I generally don't look at people's swings with a biased lens of their abilities. So from that standpoint, nothing's different. From a conversational standpoint and from, my own intuition, I kind of know when I know with a player like Jason, like what I can kind of ask of him and how that's going to go in the next 5 minutes. I might give him a more challenging task than I would give a 20 handicap. So from that standpoint, my own instincts kick in a little differently with I suppose the drills, the feels, things like that might be higher level, or they would be nearly impossible for certain golfers,
Mm-hmm.
where that's a more reasonable ask with a player like that. But like I said, I think in my mind, I dumb the game or the swing down to, you look at someone hit 50 shots and they're either hooking it too much, they're slicing it too much, or it's not hit solidly. Those are like the only three problems in golf. Or in his case, he wasn't swinging fast enough. It was going pretty darn on target. It was pretty solid, but he reported to me that he's not keeping up with his competition off the tee. He's hitting longer clubs into greens. So there's a fourth problem, which is I need to hit it farther.
Yeah.
And so you basically put someone in one of those or two of those buckets, depending on, a number of things. And you work towards improving that thing.
Yeah.
And that's, everybody's in that same sort of lens in my mind.
Yeah, because I have to say, I mean, playing with you a few years, it was noticeable how far you started hitting it after in the last year, couple of years.
I think I was lucky that I did two things at the same time. One, I came to Ryan, and two, I started doing actual speed trading.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I did one and then the other. Doing them both at the same time played a big part in it, because the speed training that I was doing, like I did it with the concepts in mind that he was teaching me at the time. So I think like the new faster swing kind of grew into the mold of what he was trying to teach me. So
Yeah.
just good timing.
Yeah, no, because I mean, I remember we were hitting maybe like 270, 280.
Yeah, not
And then
that
all
far.
of a sudden we're playing on Winter Golf Cave League and hitting at 300. Like, whoa. What's going on here? What's the next step for you? What are your plans going into 2026?
From a golf competitive standpoint, I've always tried to just do better than I did last year and achieve new goals. Getting a taste after I got into like a good finish, I got a little bit of taste of what the national stage was like, and got invited to some different events that mid amateurs get invited to. Staying here in Jersey, I play against the Grazerman brothers, and it's always a new wave of 18 to 22-year-olds that are in college and late in high school, and they come out and they beat the living crap out of us every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a new one that comes up every couple of years. The nice thing about the mid-ams are that we're all the same, in the same bucket. We all have jobs. We have kids. We have outside of golf responsibilities that always take precedence over the golf. These kids, golf is the most important thing in their life. So I think trying to get myself into an arena where I can play more of that mid-am golf and compete on more of a national stage on that has been my goal. And I need some better finishes. I need to do better in national championships in order to kind of break into that group of people.
Yeah. So what do you think makes a difference between like a really good club player and an elite player like Jason out there? What is the big difference? Because you have there's so many really good guys who only play in the club and for a few bucks here and there in the competitions.
Sure.
But like,
I think Danny thinks I'm better than I am, but I like that. I'm like hype man.
no, but I mean,
Does he talk about me like this in front of people? This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to make anybody look bad.
I think however you decide to group levels of golfers, maybe it's by chunks of 10 and handicap, 30, 30s, the 20s, the teens, the single digits, sub scratch, and then people who are on various tours and play professionally. If you were to look at the TrackMan numbers we were talking about before we came over here, the minor league tour, which is a tour in Florida for professional golfers for the most part they don't have a place on the Korn Ferry. The PGA Tour Americas, they live probably in the Florida area and want somewhere to play competitively. If you looked at their TrackMan numbers and then you looked at John Rahm's TrackMan numbers, you'd be like, what's the difference? Not across the board, but if you looked at someone who's really good who has no status on any tour, hits it reasonably far, and then you looked at that, you would be scratching your head at what the difference is in a lot of cases. And so the difference is probably not so much their abilities to hit a golf ball in a sterile environment. Technique is important, but probably not so much technical. And so you start looking at the mental and emotional side of competitive golf. And he just alluded to it. He accomplished his goal of making the cut and getting into match play, and then was freewheeling and played great because now there was nothing on the line. And I think the players that are able to, and it popped into my head when you were talking about goals. Like, if you set this making the cut as the ultimate goal, that's a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself internally. And being able to execute under that type of pressure and duress is way more mental than it is physical. And so there's just some competitive edge mentally that every level of golfer, once you get to really low single digit and scratch and the club champion and the state am and the US am, like, you keep going up those levels of just amateur golf, it's so much of it's mental, if not nearly all of it.
But how do you work on that mental side?
Some people, I think, Tiger Woods worked on it with his father. I mean, he just was basically trained to be mentally strong, whatever that means, and be able to, handle that type of pressure and still execute shots. How do you train that? I think you find a good sports psychologist and you learn, if you don't already have that as like an innate ability. Some people are just killers. They just are born to beat down the competition. Their their shot hitting abilities and ability to execute seemingly gets better the harder it is. Like, that's Tiger in a nutshell, isn't it? Like Jack Nicklaus. You put them on the 18th tee, tied for the lead or with a one-shot lead in a major, and they're making par or better, and they're going to let everybody else fall apart. And they're not nervous. They're really nervous, but they can set that to the side and say, okay, I'm feeling this way, but there's the ball, here's my club, and that's the fairway, and I'm going to hit this thing in play. And the fact that I'm nervous is not going to get in my way of, doing that type of thing. And that's how you handle those emotions. And most people, those nerves are basically like clouding their view of where they're trying to hit the hole, and they get distracted. They start thinking about what could go wrong. The last time I was nervous, I hooked it out of bounds. Oh, I hope I don't hook it out of bounds. Don't go left, don't go. And then what are you going to do in that, sort of mental situation? And I don't think Tiger Woods has never had thoughts like that, but he can compartmentalize and step up, and his whole focus is on putting the ball where it needs to go.
There's no difference in my mind between practicing your physical swing and practicing your mental game. Like, you have to have both. You can't just show up and hit a shot in the golf course and expect it to be great if you haven't practiced it 1,000 times. And the same thing is with your mental game. When I was growing up, like, my dad put Dr. Bob Rotella books in my hands when I was like 12 and 13 years old. And Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. He would have me reading these books. The Precious Present was another one. And it was all about, here's what you should be thinking of in these moments. Here's how you can treat bad thoughts. Here's how you process good thoughts. Here's how you get all the thoughts out of your head. Here's how you concentrate on your breathing. When you do that, you take away all the other things. Like, it teaches you that when you take away one sense, all the rest become heightened and things like that. So, like, you just see me walking down the fairway. Nobody knows I might be counting my breaths or doing other things. Like, there's a lot going on in my head where it looks like I'm super calm in this, but like, there's a million things going on. And a lot of those are just trying to keep my heart rate down. I know the higher my heart rate goes, I know the worse my shots get, and trying to keep that down and under pressure and things like that. So like, I think if you're not practicing those things, you're just missing one of the elements of how to get better.
Yeah. So, for example, last year on the local qualifier, you went off on it was a Knickerbocker, right?
U.S.
So,
Open qualifier.
U.S. Open
Knickerbocker.
qualifier. You went off on a rampage. I mean,
Shot a stellar 1 over on the front 9, and then your typical 7 birdies on the back 9. Yeah. Just
So I asked this because me as a high handicapper, you go ahead and you're starting to have a really good round, and I've been there. Like I have this issue where it's like when I feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna be shooting in the 70s. It's like, oh, start like thinking, start counting numbers, I start doing all sorts of things. So how do you handle that? Like, do you just? I mean, when you made 3 birdies in a row, and you were making every putt, what was your thought there?
I know where I'm at.
4 birdies in a row.
Yeah, so I'm not thinking about going the other way. Like, I'm always thinking about making another one. So it doesn't occur to me like, oh, wow, the odds of you making 4 birdies in a row are like this amount. It's like, no, the odds of me birdieing a hole are decently okay. So, like, I'm just going to birdie the next hole and keep getting better and better. Like, as I got further into that round, 3 under, finished 6 under. So I guess I had 4 holes left. I was 2 under, and I birdied the last 4 holes in a row. Like at Knickerbocker, the last 4 holes are not the easiest holes, especially 17.
No. 17 is like it's a par 4.
Yeah.
Right. But I made a putt on 17 where I thought it was going to break a foot. My caddy thought it was going to break 6 inches, and I end up like pulling it to like right at the cup, and it still went in. So like, there's enough luck that also happens, good and bad, when you're rolling out there, that you got to smile, accept it, and then move on to the next hole. So
For sure.
I don't know. It doesn't, but I'm always thinking those thoughts that you just said come into your mind, 100% come to my mind. I just know how to get them out quickly.
Yeah. I think everybody is thinking that if you're on 59 watch on the PGA Tour, you're aware that you're on 50. Like, just because you're not watching the broadcast doesn't mean that you don't know that you're 2 birdies from being 13 under and shooting 59. Like, they're going through that same math in their head. Like, okay, if I could make a birdie on 16, then I don't have to birdie 17. I could birdie 18 because it's so hard not to get ahead of yourself. And I think if you're towing the line of your best score ever, or just the breaking 80 is your line in the sand for a good round or a bad round, why you put that as some marker for good and bad, that's up to you. But once you get into this mindset of, oh no, I can't screw this up, I think is where you start to go downhill. Whereas what Jason was just talking about is everyone noticed that he just made 3 birdies in a row. And his mindset is, I'm going to make a 4th. I'm going to get this to 5, 6 under. And that's not getting ahead of yourself. It's just not, you don't play with an avoidance mindset. You play with more intention. And I think that's a really big deal. I also think this is a Rotella bit of advice that I think Johnny Bush, who's a member here and a very, very good player, he went and spent 2 days with Bob Rotella, like stayed at his house. And a lot of what they talked about had to do with putting. And he put so much pressure on his short putts, like a 4-footer, which you should make, but they're not automatic. You have to read it. You got to, it's not a tap in. And he told me that a freeing mindset that he developed that helped him a lot on those putts was thinking to himself, I'm going to make this putt, but it's okay if I don't. And the spiraling out of control that, oh my God, if I can just par out, I'll break 80 for the first time. The second you make that bogey, it's like your whole life collapses on you, and like you go crazy. You make bogey, double, and you're like, what the hell happened? Like this, I had this whole thing. And I think if you're pressuring yourself not to screw up, that's a really big deal. And if you're thinking, I'm going to do this thing, and it's okay if I don't, I think that's a totally different mindset. You almost let yourself off the hook from making a mistake so that when it happens, it's just, you just continue and you keep plodding along with the good play that you've already had going on in that day. And that's so much easier said than done. But I think it's a huge switch of trying not to screw up versus trying to intentionally do something totally knowing that you could screw up. And if you kind of have this attitude of, I'm going to be all right, even if I do, like I said, the spiraling might not happen after you make a mistake.
Yeah.
The most trying moments mentally are either when you're playing your best or you're playing your worst. The stuff in the middle isn't as trying.
Yeah.
So if you can't control yourself when you're playing bad, you're also not going to be able to control yourself when you're playing really well. So I always think of the bad days are just training for the good days. That's the way I think of it from a mental approach.
Yeah, I remember walking when you lost that match. Sorry to bring it up, and the US Midam. I was walking and watching the other guy. I can't remember the guy's name.
I forever blocked it out, so I don't want to
Yeah, but he was basically because he knew, hey, I'm about to win this thing. And he was, and he was like, stay in the moment, stay in the moment. He just kept saying that to himself for like 150 yards. And it just shows me how, like, you know, it's tough. It's tough for even someone at that level.
He just came off 4 birdies in a row. I feel like he was feeling pretty high at that moment.
I mean, when I'm always gonna say on the whatever hole, I think it was the 6th hole, the par 5, where you hit it to, what was it, maybe 10 feet?
Yeah.
He hit his second shot all the way to the right. I mean, this was rough, like real rough and wet. And I'm like, there's no way this guy gets up and down from here. Boom. He just gets up and down. And I'm like, oh, come on. I guess I drove a while for this. But
A while for this.
Sorry.
It's fine. I deserve it.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Salt in the wound.
Yeah. But now kind of changing the subject. What's your lowest round ever, Ryan?
Well, I played from this was well documented too. I played from the forward tees here, which
I saw it on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an exercise I've given my students.
Love that.
Go play from the forward tee, see how far under par you can take it. And I shot 60. So technically speaking,
Wow.
60. Yeah, I had a putt for 59. And I think I shot like 32 on the front. I went ballistic on the back. On a regular length golf course, I've shot 6 under half a dozen times. So 60, that was a 67 at Bethpage, or not Bethpage, that would be nice. Stream Song Black, which is a par 73, and then a bunch of 66s. I've never shot 65. I shot a bogey-free 67 here.
That's pretty good.
I think it was this last summer. I've never done that any other time, bogey-free. So that was a huge goal for like 10 years, shoot a bogey-free round. Finally did that. That was probably my proudest low round.
Yeah, I'm still working on the bogey-free 9 holes.
Yeah,
it's coming.
It's brutal.
It's coming. It's coming soon. How about you, Jason?
In competition, I think it was my 65 in the U.S. Open qualifier last year. But my lowest round was a 62 at Rutgers Golf Course in college. I wore contacts at the time. And for some reason, I had an issue, and I wore like my actual glasses for the first time ever to play golf. And I shot 62, and then I never wore them again playing golf.
Yeah, you should wear them.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now I got LASIK, so
No, maybe you should still wear them.
lost my chance right there.
Yeah. So, what is the best single hole that you have ever played at any course?
I'm going to need a moment.
Quality of hole, or are we talking how
whatever
we
you think
played
it's a
it?
good hole or no, but it's like a hole that you go like, oh my god, I will keep playing this hole all the time if I had the chance.
God, we were talking about Muirfield before, and I could think of like 4 holes out there that were just.
By the way, this
coolest.
question came up because I had a whole different
Yeah.
set of questions. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go this way.
I could probably, I don't know if I could choose one. I could probably give you like a top 5.
Okay, let's do top 3.
All right. 18 at St. Andrews.
Man, this guy is really like kind of like, you know.
I got a pretty like bougie list of
Yeah,
places
I've
that
seen
I've
it,
played
yeah.
it. But I've played the old course 6 times.
Only
Very
6 times.
fortunate.
Yeah.
The last time I played it was with my dad and my brothers. And my brothers had never played there. My dad and I had played it once before. And my dad was like weeping going over the Swilken Bridge.
Yeah.
Like it was and it was a beautiful day. It was the 4 of us. Like we have permanent teams, my youngest brother and I versus my middle brother and my dad. And like we play matches and we go to all these great places. And that was an unbelievable like moment. Therefore, I think very fondly of that hole. I would put 11 at Pine Valley as one of my absolute favorites. I'll let you rattle off a couple, and I'll think of.
I mean, that's.
I mean,
he just threw like.
I know those are
almost,
good ones.
Almost every hole at
I have to
National.
play at it, you know, in some of these courses. I gotta get my game
Yeah.
up, you know.
I'm gonna miss one or two. I know this is a tough one. I should have thought about this more, but
And
so
for the
I'll
viewers,
put-
by the way, this is kind of just came up out of nowhere, so
Yeah.
it was no practice. I know it's
no, it's
This
a
is
good
how it
question.
should go.
So I'm gonna go St. Andrews too, but I'm gonna say 17.
Yeah, 17's so cool.
So 17, obviously the road hole. It's the one where you're hitting over the hotel.
a long hole.
Over the H in Hotel.
So my story of that one is I was out in Scotland. My dad was out there with me, but he didn't get on. I got on with a buddy of mine who like kind of almost snuck me in. Like it was a little outside the lottery rules. I was really fortunate to even get to play. And we get to 17, and I mean, you're waiting your trip, you're coming over there. If you're going to play this hole, all these thoughts are going through your mind of like how great it's going to be to hit over the hotel and all this stuff. And I mean, I borderline toe shanked it.
Oh no.
And I know this is my only, like, I might never get another chance. Like, I don't know what I like, maybe not to it, but I pop it up and I think like I might be in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like I might be.
It is shocking how far right you can go.
Right.
But
so fortunately I was in like the right edge of the fairway, pretty far back. So now I've got like 220 in or something crazy. And
nightmare.
I into the wind, like, and I hit like a rescue, like a big high fade. And somehow I land on the green. It stays on the green.
Wow.
Oh, like from quality of shot, that was as good a quality shot I've ever hit in a moment like that in my entire life.
How small is that green?
Not big. It's way smaller
So
than you
narrow.
realize. Yeah.
It's like the width of this table, but really long.
Kidney shaped,
Yeah.
like bunker
Like
on the one
just
side.
that?
It's crazy.
Wider than that,
Yeah.
but it feels like
It
that.
feels like
width.
that.
And it's just long and sort of, like you said, kidney bean shaped. And it doesn't, you have to, if you're playing a draw into it, I guess it fits
near-
the shape.
But it's near impossible. I prefer
But you have to hit something that's like landing soft or landing 40 yards short with a bunch of roll. Like it's an impossibly hard shot, especially from that distance. If you're hitting like a 9-iron to it, it's a hard shot. That is like insane.
So we're out there, and my father's Scottish, our heritage, and he's a bagpiper. So he brought his kilt and his bagpipes.
Oh my gosh.
So when we're, now we're 100 yards or so short of it. So now he's behind the green in his kilt, and he starts playing the bagpipes. So now there's like a crowd of people. Like anytime like a bagpiper shows up at the thing, like everyone just like gets nostalgic and everyone is there. So everyone shows up, and must be 50, 75 people around the green now.
Wow. Yeah, there's
And
always a lot of people.
He's
around,
playing
but
the
if that's going on,
bagpipes, and
it's
like we're
crazy.
walking up. So that was cool to do that. I missed the birdie putt, unfortunately. But I made par. And then he went on, and then we put him on after we hit our tee shots on 18, we put him on the Swilken Bridge. He played the bagpipes there.
Wow.
People were looking to take pictures with him,
Yeah.
like he was like
It's
from St. Andrews and all that kind
it's
of
a
stuff.
celebrity.
So that was cool. So getting to do that and then get a picture of him in the kilt on the bridge and all that kind of stuff. So like that's still the photo when he calls me. That's the photo that comes up when.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
So now you gotta one up that one. So
Sorry.
so then, you know, that's I
Um,
mean, you got a bougie list, like you said. Yeah.
It's a tough question. It is.
there's 16. I mean, I don't have a story about 16 at national, but 16 at national golf links, punch bowl with the windmill to your left. Played that with like the sun setting over the sound behind. It was just
cool.
a like fairy tale weather, time of day, golden hour. I have some photos that are just like absurd.
Yeah, I can
That are
imagine.
just unbelievable. Yeah. That'd be in my top 5.
Did you ever play North Berwick?
Not yet.
So
That's the home of the Redan, right?
yes.
Yeah. No, I haven't played there yet.
Redan, but it's got the punch bowl.
Yeah.
And then it's got, of course, the one with the wall, 15 or
Right.
something.
Yeah, you have to hit over the wall. That's where all the CB, McDonald, and Rayner templates are from. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been yet. That's on the list.
that's
very high on the list.
That would be another one that is. Yeah.
So now, kind of the same, but a little different. If you could replay one shot in your entire golf life, good or bad, which one is it? I'm putting you guys here to work, you know.
I've got a couple that I played
Just edit
against
out
people.
the giant pause I'm going to take as I think about this.
That's okay. You can think if you have one. Go ahead.
I'd like to make other people replay shots that they've hit on me. I want to see them do it again. Does that count?
Yeah, 'cause there's no way they could do that. No way they could do that twice in a row. Reverse mulligan.
Yeah.
So I played Marion one time in my life, and I had the driver yips.
Oops.
And I would like to take the first of the 3 tee shots that I hit on the second tee back. I think I hit 3 of the most identical slices out of bounds that you've ever seen.
Wait,
and
what
then
hole?
number 2, it's a par 5 with just the thickest out of bounds stakes you've ever. They're like concrete, like cinder blocks, just staring you in the face down the right. And if you've got the driver yips, it's about the worst sight you've ever seen in your life. With all of, where is that, Marion, Pennsylvania, to the left. Like you have the whole course to the left, and you have about 4 feet right of the fairway before the ball goes out of bounds. And I think I hit the 3 most identical slices I've ever hit in my life.
Yeah, because I'm thinking actually
over the road. They didn't even hit the road. They went
boy.
over the road. And then my host just politely asked me to drop one in the fairway. And I stopped hitting tee shots on that hole. So I'd like the first one of those back, and I'd like to try that again.
Yeah, because I remember, I think it was a Steve
Grip it
Streaker.
like this, and then
I think it was a
hook
Steve
it.
Streaker on the 2013 US
Yeah, he
Open.
shanked one out of bounds,
Yeah, he
didn't
shanked
he?
one
Yeah.
out of bounds. And it
Yeah.
was like, I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
I would probably just, go all the way left and let the slice come back into the fairway.
It's funny.
How about you?
My tee shot on my first U.S. Mid-Am, Erin Hills, big old fairway out there on the first hole. All of Erin Hills to the right, and you just can't go left. There's reeds and fescue, or not fescue, it's reeds. Like it's death. You literally can't go find it. Nothing. Like if you go in there, it's gone. Just straight up duck hook. First shot.
Mhm. Yeah, been there, done
National
that.
championship.
Is that the most nervous you've ever been in a golf shot? Or like your first US Mid-Am or?
God, I don't even think it was nerves. That's the worst part. I don't know if it was. Yes, it had to had something to do with nerves, but I was like, even on the range, I was hitting a hook. Like if I look back on it, just throw a rescue out into the fairway.
Yeah.
I already said how my best part of my game was my short game. Get up close and then do something. Like the fact that I hooked it out of bounds or into that crap could at least drop up there. Then I hooked the next one into the hazard as well. And then I made a miraculous up and down for a triple bogey. It wasn't like I 3-putted for a triple bogey. It was like a great up and down. So yeah, I would like any of those shots
Yeah.
back.
That, I mean, back to what we were talking about, like, I'm not putting words in your mouth. Maybe you weren't thinking this, but a guy who's hooking it on the range gets up to that tee shot. There's probably like one or two thoughts going on. It's probably don't hook it or don't go left. And a lot of times, if you're saying don't go left, don't go left, don't go left, don't go left, like, where's that ball going?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going left or it's going unplayably right. And I think, you know, for a lot of people, it's over before it starts. How often have you seen somebody hit a terrible shot and the first words out of their mouth were, I knew I was going to do that? And if they would, like, why in the world would you have hit the ball if you knew that that's what you were going to, you know? So it's like, if you're thinking about what you don't want to do, what kind of a mindset really is that? And, you know, back to all the mental stuff, it's those moments are so challenging, whether you call that nerves or just negative thinking or, you know, whatever.
Well, Rotella says it in his books.
Yeah.
When you say the
That's
words
loud
to yourself, don't go right, your brain doesn't register the don't.
Yeah.
They hear right. It hears right.
So what do you do? Like, I'll show up to the range, and one day for some reason my body's not feeling okay, and I cannot move or whatever, and I'm just honestly like I'm pulling everything when I usually push everything. What do you do in that case when you're in a tournament and you wake up and you cannot freaking like hit it anywhere but left?
I mean, you have to dance with the girl you brought, right? So when you get on there, you have to find something. I'll call my range sessions finding like that day's swing. I'm not going to show up to a tournament knowing I've got to work on something that Ryan and I have been talking about. I might have a swing thought. A swing thought is much different than something I'm like working towards. If I'm trying to get my weight in a certain spot, like I'm not going to be thinking about that as I'm playing. There might be a feeling that I know helps that throughout the course of the round, but I'm looking for like one or two swing thoughts when I'm on the range that are producing the shot that I'm trying to hit for that day. So you got to find whatever. It's never the same either. Don't think it's going to be the same when you get out there. Like every range session before a competitive round is slightly different. You just have to be able to like make sure it's not total opposites. It's always within like a certain margin of error.
100%. I think experience and paying attention to your experience over a long time playing golf is required. I suppose maybe this day and age you could watch as an inexperienced golfer, you could maybe watch and just mentally download enough YouTube information, assuming it's correct, that you can kind of come up with some tweaks that you could make to salvage or triage like a not good day on the golf course. But I mean, having Jason's experience playing and like, all right, this thing's going left. I got to keep this face open, or I've got to do something with my ball position to make sure this ball starts more right or is more of a block bias. You need to be a savvy golfer to do that. If you're totally oblivious to cause and effect, you don't know how to make the ball do things. Like, frankly, there's nothing I can say right now that's going to help you do that. So you have to have experience screwing up. You have to have experience kind of, I guess, tinkering, but like trying to explore swing feels, swing thoughts, and you have to have a mental log of all of those things so that you have, in those moments, you notice on the third hole, man, this ball won't stop going left on me. Like, if I take my grip and do a little bit of this, that's going to help. And I know that, but Joe Schmo golfer who's a 14 handicap and has played for 5 years, he probably doesn't know that. So, you know, having exploration sort of sessions on the range to develop some strategies for that kind of thing, like you need to know, you need an escape hatch some days, and you don't get that without some trial and error.
So what happens? Okay, you come into the range, you do that, you figure, okay, you know what, I got to mess around with my grip. The next day, you figure out, you play a good round.
That sounds like a bad idea right there. Messing around with my grip is definitely not.
No,
one
but
that
I'm
I
saying
would-
it's kind of like, you know, if you're just like,
Yeah, or open the face,
Open
move
the
the ball
face,
back,
yeah.
move the ball
Yeah.
forwards.
I
Get
got to learn better terms. I got to learn how to say it.
I've
But-
messed with my grip before.
Yeah.
right before
but
round.
it's like, yeah, I've changed from right hand low to left hand low in the middle of a tournament putting. Like I will do anything. That doesn't really, grips scare the crap out of people. Like, oh my God, you want me to change it? I don't think that way at all. To me, that's like moving my right foot back. It's the same thing. I could totally hold it different because I know that holding it different changes the bias of the shot. And I know for sure that I'm right. A lot of people, I'll tell them to strengthen their grip and they weaken it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know what the words mean.
Right.
They also don't know what that's going to do to the face. That's where I mean, like, if you take your right hand and you go like this, that ball is going to the right.
Mhm.
And if you take your right hand and you go like this, that ball is going to go to the left. And a lot of people think it's the opposite. You'd be shocked how many just normal golfers think the opposite of those things. And so that someone comes in, they're like, I keep slicing it no matter how much I do this. I'm like, what? That's what you've been trying to. I'm like, oh my God. Like, if you have it backwards, you know, you stay in that rut and it's a disaster and you can't really salvage the round. But I think if you know basic cause and effect, the ball flight laws and stuff I was mentioning, you don't have to be a scientist, but
So,
you know, little things that make the ball go more right or more left. That's, you got to, like he said, show up with the girl that you brought and
So
be able to manage that.
when I think about making changes and doing things, how about from the perspective of like technology versus non-technology and feels? Like I love seeing them at my nut numbers. Like you've seen me look at my nut numbers and like get into it and
Mhm.
like geek out. And when I'm in the golf cave with my buddies, like I'm by far the most obsessed with like looking at the numbers and seeing what they are. But on the side of it, like if it comes down to it, like I also know that it's the feel that I can change to control more of what the ball's doing out there. When someone's making a change, how do you coach to those two different things? Like if I have, you know, all the tools and stuff that I have at home and I go to my range and I worry about it, how do you coach to how much you rely on the numbers, how much is feel, and how that'll eventually carry over into like playing?
It's a great question. I think, in my opinion, the numbers are the measured outcome of a feel. I think you can be, if you're a DeChambeau, Mickelson sort of type of player who's really technical and into that kind of thing, you're still a feel player. And then Dustin Johnson's kind of the easy opposite, who's like, I don't want to know any of that information. I just want to, I got to feel a little bit of this and go ahead and fade. Like, those are the same thing. One guy is just putting values, specific values to it, and the other guy is valueless and is just kind of relying on the shape of the flight. But a TrackMan path readout and a TrackMan face readout is the same as looking up and seeing a curve or lack thereof, a curve, you know? And so I think some people just want all the information and some people want none of the information. Everybody wants a feel. Like there are no non-feel players. I think everybody's a feel player. They just might not tell you that they are.
Okay.
No.
And I think that's kind of like, that's more so where I might give people different feedback, but it's all feel. I think everybody is playing with feel.
So going back to my question, okay, so you come in one day, you made some adjustments in the course, you had a good round. What do you do the next day? Do you just go
Great
ahead and
question,
keep that,
Nope.
keep those adjustments, or do you just go back to original?
Ideally, no. If you got to play back-to-back tournament rounds and you're like, oh my gosh, this thing is back. I'm doing the same thing I did yesterday. Sure. But you need to, been calling it a roadmap a lot recently. You kind of have to have this direction that you're trying to head in with your technique, whether that's a setup change or a in swing adjustment to what your arms are doing or your wrists or, you know, whatever it is, you've got this thing that you're trying to work on. You've probably got some drills. You've got some things that you're maybe looking at on video or just a feel that you're working on. You have to continue doing that relentlessly, probably for years, before it's something that is so automatic that you don't have to try to do it anymore. And along the way, right, your GPS is telling you that this is your eventual destination and this is how you're going to get there. Well, what if a tree fell on the road that you're supposed to be driving on? You got a detour, but you're still trying to go to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a perfect world, you know, you're going to have some bumps in the road, you're going to have some road closures, and you're going to have to go around. And then the next day, that road's cleaned up, you can go straight through. It's like some days there's just going to be smooth sailing. You're going to get there on time. There's going to be no traffic. There's going to be, you know, no road work. And then other days it's like you hit every red light and you're 5 minutes late, but the destination's still the same. The general sort of direction that you're heading is the same, but you just got to kind of roll with the punches, and that's up to coach and player. Like, you got to know yourself as a player. So you go out there and you're on the third hole and you haven't hit a shot that hasn't gone left. You've got to know, like, I myself move my right hand over when that's happening, and I weak grip it with my right hand and it stops going left. And that does not rattle me. But maybe Jason's got to move the ball back in his stance, or he's just got to aim further right.
That's probably
You
me.
know,
That's probably
like,
what I end up doing.
you got to know what works for you.
I don't think I changed my grip in the middle of a round ever.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't. I don't know if it doesn't occur to me or it's not
Yeah.
something I've done in the past.
But whatever your
Yeah.
medicine is, like, you
Yep.
got to
You gotta
know.
take 'em.
You can't have, like, this thing happening and you can't take the wrong medicine. Like, if you know, like,
You have to know
okay,
what your medicine is.
back to kind of the beginning, you can hook, you're either hooking it too much, you're slicing it too much, or it's not solid.
Mm.
If you're slicing it too much, you need the face closed. If you're hooking it too much, you need the face open. So you got to know what's a little dose of open face that I can take right now to fix that. And that could be a grip, it could be your aim, it could be your
that's fair.
stance, it could be ball position, it could be a number of things. But you can't have a closed face problem and try to take an antidote for that and it closes your face more and expect that that's going to do anything good,
Yeah.
right? So if you're thinking, oh, make a little grip change, and you do the wrong thing, like, you're in bigger trouble than you were a second ago. So that's where I mean, like, what's the saying? You can't get 10 years of experience in a day less than 10 years. Like,
Absolutely.
you need to have sort of a database of some trial and error, some strategy, and you got to know how much of that thing to apply in that moment to kind of right the ship and just get through the round.
I think what I do now that you like actually describe it, like if I'm hitting the ball left, I try to hold on to it a little bit more. And then if I'm hitting the ball right,
Mhm.
I try to rotate more. So it's two totally
Sure.
different mechanics. One has to do with like hand and riff, hold on, and the other one has to do with rotating your body. So it's interesting that, I don't know, completely different.
And what's crazy about what you just said is I know people who hold on to it more to make it go left and people who rotate harder to make it go right.
Well, and
Like,
that's the thing that
It's,
you know.
that's what I say. You have to have your strategy.
That's kind of like
Right?
what I
He
was
thinks
saying.
I'm nuts for changing my grip, and I'm like, well, I know people who do the opposite of what you just said.
Yeah.
But if you know, based on past experience, that those things are going to work, then you can
You gotta
get the ball
have
in the hole.
you gotta have the knowledge to
Yeah.
be able to do it. Because someone like me, which I
Yeah.
get in trouble and I mess up my whole swing, is because I try to make changes that are completely wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so kind of like
At-
we were talking about, like me with that weird move
Yeah.
here, as opposed to I was like, no, if I go here, that's gonna like make the club go
For
for
sure.
yeah. So it's
At the tour level and the highest level, I mean, having a caddy who knows that stuff too it's rare to find that at a country club. But if you watch Ted Scott and Scotty Scheffler, like, I guarantee you, Ted remembers all the same things that Scotty remembers, and they're in unison as he's trying to, manage the bad shots that, not that he hits very many, but there's some caddies out there that can kind of help a player get it back on the rails with the same things that we're talking about. It doesn't always necessarily come from the player. So it's like, what's the team that you've got around you, and where's your advice coming from? And
sometimes that's like swing and like technique related. For me and the guys and friends that I have caddying for me, it's more just like a relaxation type of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's more of a mental approach.
yeah,
Like they'll know
when to crack a joke.
yeah.
Yeah.
When to laugh
Yeah,
at me when I hit a
right.
shot.
Yeah.
So, so as we kind of start wrapping up, we're kind of getting slowly there. But so we're gonna do some quick questions. I guess rapid fire. Let's say so.
Nice way of saying
Does
it.
it have to be rapid answer?
I was going to say that's a nice way of saying we're long-winded in our other answers.
No, but it doesn't have to be a rapid answer. So morning tea time or twilight?
Twilight.
Morning.
Morning. Okay. Why? I know it's rapid fire, but I have to ask why.
I like a cocktail on the course. Let's say this
you don't
is
want us to judge
me
you?
and my buddies are going
Yeah.
to play, or if I'm going to play golf with my girlfriend or something, like a little swing lube and some tunes, golden hour, sunset, like that's my speed.
But you don't have
So
kids yet, so
if I'm,
that's the
I also, it takes, I always say, I'm like a 60-year-old in a 30-year-old's body. It takes me forever for the pain to leave my body. And by the afternoon, I feel warmed up. I'm moving better. I'm creaky in the morning. I don't generally play as well until I've kind of been moving around.
And you look like you're in good shape. I don't know about me.
It all hurts, but that's what it takes, I guess.
How about you, Jason?
No, I love morning. I love to like sun's coming up. I like to be on the range just as the sun's coming up. Like that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And sometimes be the first one there. And then I think as I'm getting older, enjoying like the late afternoon golf with my boys, that's a totally different situation. But I can't drink when I play golf though. It doesn't.
Yeah, we have some stories about you drinking.
We
We had enough stories about you
feels
drinking.
like a
Table that
theme.
for next
Yeah.
time.
Driver or putter? Must choose one to save your round.
Putter. Mine's not even.
Lob wedge.
That's an option. I choose.
I
lob wedge, too.
would. I just told you about the driver yips. I would actually say my driver now.
Your driver? Oh, yeah.
Drive it with the best of them some days.
Hardest hole you have ever played? And every time I bring the holes, it's like it's long silence.
Yeah.
This is so hard.
Because you guys have played a lot of courses.
Really hard holes.
They're probably all at Pine Valley.
All of them. The par three.
4 from the backs at PV is a
Oh,
beast of a hole.
Great.
Super long. No, the par 4. You start
Oh.
like down deep in the woods.
yes.
Get up to like a mountainous blind tee shot. Probably 480. That one's really hard. 13 also from the backs at PV. Brutal. 18 PV is insanely hard.
So basically all of Pine Valley.
Almost every hole at Pine Valley is really hard.
Okay, we'll come back to
that's
it. Then kind of like think about it. But anyway, we were talking about this before. Best golf trip you've ever taken, and this could be like a whole episode by itself. But
I mean, I'll say my trip to Scotland last year has to do with the quality of courses we play too. Getting to play St. Andrews, getting to play Muirfield, North Berwick, Carnoustie, Kingsbarns, all in one trip.
So, St. Andrews or Muirfield? Which one would you take?
I would go
The better
Muirfield.
golf course,
Yeah.
definitely Muirfield. But just being around St. Andrews was.
You're on like hallowed grounds.
Yeah,
It's one of
right.
the most unbelievable. And it's also, talk about nerves. If you tee off at the wrong time, there could be 100 people watching you tee off on the first tee.
Kind of like Beth Page and the
Just
Yeah.
people walking around town. It's unbelievable. So That's I would
Ooh.
say I just went to Ireland for the first time, and that's probably recency bias that I'm putting that there with Scotland. I think I like Scotland a little bit better, and same thing. Like probably the last time I went to Scotland was the best. Similar lineup of courses. Just
I'll give you my opinion when I go. So
there you go.
that's
Back to the hardest hole. I think I'm going to put 15 at Bethpage. Now that you said Bethpage, when you said the words Bethpage, it's shot. And I've played 15 in
You
competition.
go over the road, and then it's
a
the
dog
dog
up the hill. If
Yeah.
you don't, you play the back tees and you don't hit a great tee shot, you've got like 5 iron into a that's
unbelievable. Yeah, it's an impossible shot. With
I mean,
5
15
iron.
at Bethpage. I think the issue is that at that point, most likely you're so tired of going that 2 degree, whatever degree incline is for the whole course.
It's a brutal
That
walk.
once you go over, you're like, oh my God, I have no legs.
Yeah.
And then once you go up the hole, you're really like done. So that one I can give my opinion because I have played it many times and not too well.
Right out here and go 11. Here.
Yeah.
Pound for
I can't believe I'm going to say this on a recorded thing, but they call it the shortest par 5 in New Jersey.
Oh,
it's not the dumbest, but it's true. Like you miss the green, you make a 5. It's 145 yards, and you miss the green, you make 5 a lot of times. It's a really tough par 3.
Last time I played it, I left the ball like hanging over the. I've had one hole in one. It's important.
Yeah,
how far it was.
Actually, you want to tell that story quickly? No. I have to. You mentioned it.
Oh, Jesus, it was from the ladies' tees at Brereton Valley.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
it was like what, that 90 yards, 60?
It was 84 yards.
Okay,
I have an 84-yard hole in one, and I call it a hole in one. It was on a par 3 course at the bridge. Oh. The bridge has some hard holes.
Yeah. This one wasn't hard or any of those things, but
I don't know.
Never had any other one. And that I left it on the edge this summer over there. I was like, man, that would have been a great one.
Easily the most hole-in-one hole here. It's just a saddle. If you hit the green, you have a birdie look almost every time. Yeah. If you miss the green, you make a lot of double bogeys.
Okay, so we were talking about this before in the last when we were recording the lesson. Music on the range or total silence? And if it's music, what are you listening to?
I listen to music as often as I'm allowed when playing golf. Ironically, most of the courses we've mentioned so far are no music golf courses.
No music golf courses.
And I
don't think you can take your speaker at Pine Valley.
And I don't want it to sound like I don't enjoy a pure round of golf with no music. But on the range, I listen to music when I'm practicing and stuff. I'm like, do as I say, not as I do. I am not someone who loves to practice, so it gets boring for me really fast. Music kind of keeps me going a little bit, so I prefer music when I'm practicing. And if the time is right, I like it on the course too.
Yeah. I love music when you're out playing. Obviously, you don't get it in competition.
Yeah.
But any social round I have, and even some that aren't social, that are competition, but they're lighter, I'll have, our club championships at the club. Like, I've got a speaker on my cart, at least so I can hear.
And what are you listening to? What?
I have a playlist on my phone called The Playlist, and it's mostly just it's a variety of 60s, 70s, 80s, some 90s rock.
One cool dude,
And then I'll pivot from that and listen to like a playlist called The Sandbar, which is like kind of beach time country music. I listen to a lot of jam band type, Grateful Dead, Goose, band called Mo, that type of thing.
Nice. How about you?
So it depends what's going on or who had my phone last. And sometimes I'll just put on like my mix on Spotify, which could be a combination of my music I've listened to, whatever my wife or my kids have put in there. When I'm really practicing and like trying to ingrain something, I will go complete and total dork mode and I'll put on classical music and I'll have it playing in it while I'm trying to like learn and ingrain something. I find that helps. Maybe I might be a mental midget otherwise sometimes, and I feel like that helps calm the brain and lets me absorb things a little bit better.
No lyrics is probably good.
No lyrics helps a lot.
I'm a big believer in if you and your partner, if you're in a cart, if you're not and you're walking, it's a little different. But if you're in carts and you're playing against the other cart and it's not going well for your team, you must change the genre completely.
100%.
I think that goes without saying. So I think that music can change the course of a match pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a swing thought.
Oh, yeah. You know what? We're going to leave it at that. But guys, yeah, because I have a lot of swing thoughts, but too many. But just want to say thank you so much today. This was fun. I mean, we probably could have been here for many hours. Unfortunately, we do have a job. Somehow people are already calling me because I took off a couple hours.
Yeah, I got a lesson in 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I really appreciate this, and it was very fun. Looking forward to
great. Thanks for having me.
Doing it again in the summer or in the spring.
Yeah,
while we play. So thank you.
Mobile podcast. Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, perfect.
Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, man.